What's up, guys? It's time for another haul video. But I think this time we're gonna do something a little different. We're getting really busy with just stuff going on. And so I figured instead of trying to save time and do these fresh crack videos, I might just crack a few bottles that we'll review soon after. So while we go through this haul, we'll either taste some, crack some, just to get some air. So when Christine is available, can definitely do some more reviews. Hopefully that sounds okay to you guys. So let's get at it. Welcome back to Bourbon Drinks. I'm Oliver. Christine has been very busy, and some of you guys have noted she's bored during these haul videos. Mainly because she's just watching me pull out bottles that I bought and she probably wasn't there for. So in order to keep the wife happy, we'll let her do her thing and we'll just bring her in for the reviews or when you see us travel together. All right, kind of busy month in April. I was traveling quite a bit for work and personal. It was Christine's birthday last month, and so took her to Rome. You guys probably saw that video. If you didn't, check it out. But did get a few bottles, nothing super crazy, but you know, some of these were kind of up there in terms of prices. So that's another reason we don't want Christine here. We don't want her to hear or know how much we spent. All right, so let's go. I mean, with all the travel, I think you guys that follow the channel probably saw some of my posts. I will post up kind of current events, things that are going on. And this is I just call it the newest version of Wild Turkey Rare Breed, non-chill filtered. It's a new box. I have the previous version, which is a gray box, but these guys are pretty much the same. And probably the best deal in bourbon right now. I say this because this is a 1 liter bottle, non-chill filtered. What are these guys? Like 116.8 proof on the neck there. Yeah, this is a good pour. I mean, for $45 out the door, because there's no tax when you buy these in duty free. And that's what I got. I got a few of these. Had some people ask me. But yeah, happy to pick up one of these guys again. I've got backups. I haven't really been touching the other one, but really good pour, especially the non-chill filtered. All right, the next guy is this Found North 18 year. Batch 11. Not cracked this yet. I have Hoverhawk, I've tried other ones. You know, for me, the Found Norths are good. They're, you know, they can be high proof. They're very sweet. Usually they're finished. But much like the American Light whiskeys, they've got a profile that maybe is a little too sweet for me. So how many of you guys have Found Norths? These are hard to find, right? We're likely to have to get these in our area, like Maryland gets them, Virginia doesn't. But yeah. Wild Turkey 8 year. This is dropped in our area. And I will crack this one because we have the Asia export cracked and we will do a review. Let's compare. Let's see if the Asian version has a bit more umami or not. But I am a turkey fanboy, as you guys know, and we will see what notes this has. Smells like wild turkey. That sweet brown sugar with, it's like baking spice. It's like kind of a spicy note. I won't call it cinnamon really, but there's definitely some spice in there that I like. It's very wild turkey. So let's have a sip. Cheers, guys. You know, the funny thing is, Wild Turkey 101, just a regular one, the reason I really like it is that it drinks hotter than 101. for some reason, maybe this drink's exactly at 101. Not bad. Tastes like a wild turkey. It's my first sip of the day, so I can't tell you that it's more viscous. I should have probably, you know, gotten the palate warmed up with something, but it's warmed up with a 101. Definitely a good pour. I only bought one bottle. I'm not backing these up. I'm hoping they become very available. So if I run out, I just go run and get another one. So let me know, guys, in the comments, who's picked up a Wild Turkey 8-year. I know a lot of people are skipping out on these. The prices seem to be coming down. I think I saw them for as high as 50 and as low as like 42 bucks on recent hunts. But I got mine for 46 from Maryland. Yeah. This next guy is a Knob Creek Rye 7-year. Now, you're wondering, why did I buy this? I had to get into a lottery. And so I bought this. I'm gonna have trouble. Bought this to get into a lottery to win some cool bottles. If you guys saw that video, got a little bit of hate for it being kind of a clickbait. Apologies, but you know. I did get my number pulled. Unfortunately, it was a high number, like in the 20s. So only thing left that was kind of worth getting was a Willett green top 9-year for like $320. And I think that'd be a good price for a purple top, even an 8-year purple top or 7. I would pay that for a purple top, but the green tops, I just didn't feel like were worth it at that price point for me, right? And I'd spend money on other types of ryes, but I just didn't feel like doing it for that. But, you know, they called me up because I guess I'm a frequent customer. Don't tell Christine that. I'm kidding. No, they know me. But they called me up and said, hey, my boy Peter out there, he works at Liquor Locker. He's like, hey, you didn't pick anything up. Because basically it's all automated now. It's online. You get a text message, you log in, and you can pick a bottle. And I told him, like, there's nothing that I wanted because there's like Shanks, a bunch of Michter's products, a bunch of products I already had. And I guess didn't want to spend the money just to get that. But he did offer up an empty barrel from their picks. And so we have an Elijah Craig empty barrel. And he mentioned, yeah, they have a bunch left. They just stopped putting up on the list of things to get. I guess people didn't want the barrel, but me and Christine love the barrels. We use this as a decoration around the house. So yeah, so I'll be getting a barrel. He's holding one for me, and that's like 50 bucks. Anyway, that's what we're getting. But I figured I didn't get that rye. We have this rye. I know it's not the same. This is a 7-year, that's a 9-year, and the proof, but whatever. I guess, you know, I feel like sometimes the Willets are kind of pricey for what they are, right? And I just need to love it. So this one on the nose, it's somewhat light, fresh crack, but yeah, it's like sweet notes, like light sweet honey, very light, like honeyed water. If you put water in a hot tea, and I'm not getting anything else beyond that. So let's have a sip. Yeah, that's a decent rye. Cups off, kind of sweet on the palate there. A light sweetness. There's a mild tobacco note, like this tannin that's sitting there, kind of at the mid palate onto the finish. And one more sip. Yeah, transitions to, you know, rice spice, but not that grassy herbal flavor. It really is a palatable rye for me, and is reminiscent of Michter's ryes. So I like the Michter's ryes, and I really enjoyed this one. Quite surprising. Wonder if like they have some special, more aged ryes. I know they have a 10-year. I didn't get that one because that was, I think, 60 bucks or something, and this was like $39, and so that was enough to get me to the lottery. And you got to kind of like, you know, put in that small amount of Annie as possible. But anyway, decent pour, decent price. First time trying it, I'm happy. I'm pleased that we got this. The worst case scenario, I was gonna make some old fashions with it. Okay, we got some more stuff. More stuff to crack. Barrel, double oaked, or double barrel. We're gonna crack this guy because we definitely love our double oaked bottles. We're not super big, at least I'm not super big on the finish, you know, bourbons where they put it into like maybe a secondary wine cask or some other liquor. But I do like extra oak. I feel like they pull off a decent amount of sweetness, depth, and viscosity when they do so. Heard a lot of good things about this one. I've not even seen this in the liquor stores. I was lucky to find it while I was getting to the lottery. I was like looking at the options of bottles to buy because you can do everything online now. It's great. Yeah, and I only have like one or two other barrel bottles here, like a Mizorana. I haven't even cracked it. So this is the first barrel ever that we're trying. Let me know, guys, who loves the barrel craft spirit stuff. I have 2 bottles and one's open. I think for me, I was a little kind of apprehensive because I didn't know where to start. You know how it is in this bourbon thing? When I first got into it, it's very confusing. What tastes like what, this and that. So I really trust in you guys to give me some, you know, comments. Tell me what's good, not good. Give me some tasting notes, right? Compare it to things that we have you've seen on the channel. Because then it helps me understand what I'm getting myself into. Then I can decide, right? It's kind of like that Willett purchase. I tried the Willett 11-year rye at Jack Rose. And I was like, I wouldn't pay, you know, $400 for 11-year. And so that's why I was kind of hesitant on that $320 for the 9-year. Anyway, on the nose, again, fresh crack, so we probably won't get much. It's standard light bourbon notes. I mean, nothing's coming out, right? We probably have to give this some time to rest. By the time we review it, I'm sure it'll open up. I heard good things, right? These things are like $50 and under. That's a pleasant sipper. I wouldn't call it Woodford double oaked. I wouldn't even call it a Peerless double oaked. I'm trying to think of what kind of double oak I'd kind of lean towards here. Take a second sip. Honestly, I can't even tell if it's double oaked, personally. It's a fresh crack. The hope is it'll open up. It's got very good reviews for what it is. $50 bottle. I just tastes like regular bourbon to me. And again, this is my first barrel craft spirits bottle I've ever opened up. This is 100 proof, aged 5 years. It tastes like it says, it tastes like a 5-year bourbon, but I've seen the foundation as 5 years. I don't know if the foundation is double barreled. Anybody that's very familiar with the barrel products, please let me know in the comments. I want to learn from you guys. But yeah, it's good. I'm not going to complain. I just hope it opens up to something more because right now it's just like a regular bourbon I paid $50 for. Yeah, I mean, it's good. It's not bad, but I'm not sure if I'd rave over it, but yeah. Okay, I'm gonna take a break from tasting to pull out some bottles that I know we're not gonna open up right now, but we'll open up on another date. So, who saw the hunt video of Christine and I stopping by our old stomping grounds, our old neighborhood? So she and I grew up in that area called Oxon Hill, Maryland. We went to school there. We actually went to college together. I was in Baltimore. But yeah, we went back and going into one of the liquor stores, Oxon Hill Liquors. Just walked in, asked if I could do a video. And then in the cabinets, I saw this guy. He had a big $400 sticker on it. And I know $400 is still like, I don't know. I base Heaven Hill prices on the distillery prices because that's where I go to pick up my Heaven Hill. I've never been lucky enough to walk into a store to actually pick one up in a Brandon store, but this is the first time. And at the Heaven Hill Distillery, this sells for about $3.30, I believe. And so, after like driving to Kentucky, because we usually drive, it's not too bad for us, especially the Tesla, it kind of drives itself. And staying at a hotel, which I usually use points, but the thing that really is the effort is like getting there early enough to get in line. The distillery opens up at 9:30, so you usually have to be in line at the latest by 6 a.m. 6 a.m. to be like number 20 something in line, which usually guarantees you a bottle, right? Yeah. So I figured, okay, if they took 400 out the door, would I'd buy it, and that basically makes it like $3.60, so 35 something bucks over at SRP, or what we would pay for it, essentially. I thought it was a fair price. Saved us a trip, saved some time, and we got this Heaven Hill 19. I know these are hard to find, so I'll ask, has anyone picked it up? I know the answer is probably no for most people, but if you have, congratulations. And if you cracked it, let me know. It's kind of this low proofer. It's a 19-year-old, what is it like? I'm looking at it again, sorry. It's like 100 proof. That's the thing. Sometimes these distilleries just price like the really hard to find stuff, whatever they want, and make whatever they want, and they're able to get it. So I remember the reason I wasn't really hard pressed to hunt that bottle is because it was 100 proof. It was a wheat whiskey, not a bourbon, and it was still expensive. It was like over $300. But then, have you guys heard about the new BTAC member, E.H. Taylor? There's supposedly some highly aged E.H. Taylor bottle and bond. It's gonna be 100 proof, just like this Heaven Hill. It'll probably be like $1,500, $2,000, just because it's brand new. They're gonna hype the heck out of that bottle. That'll be a $2,000 bottle and bond. A lot of people I talk to wish it was like barrel proof, and I have like a few barrel proofs. I think those are worth it, but bottle and bond, I think they're just trying to cater to the history of E.H. Taylor pushing for that. Let's continue. Speaking of Willett Purple Tops, I mentioned this earlier. I passed on a Willett Green Tops 9-year rye, but I did pick up this 11-year Willett Purple Top. In DC, I was hunting for Jack Daniels because Jack 14, 12, and 10 had dropped in the DC area. So I was hoping to run into it. I did find it for, well, I don't know if I found it. I called a place. 30 minutes later, they sold it for $500, the JD14. But they had this guy. They had this guy for $3.99 sitting on the shelves. And this is an 11-year, 114 proof purple top. I think if you guys are familiar with Willett, you know that they have a back sticker, so they kind of put the name there with the bottle count. So bottle 70 out of 136. So not a short barrel, but yeah. I mean, these are good. I had the opportunity to pick these up for, I think, $4.50 at Jack Rose. Anybody visiting DC, if you want purple tops, Jack Rose basically has a really good relationship with Willett, I think, and they have these all the time. So always call and check if you're in town. Jack Rose Saloon. All right, this next guy. Bourbon Deluxe. This is a 16-year Buff Turkey. You guys are familiar with Buff Turkey. Basically, I guess like 16 years ago now, Wild Turkey asked Buffalo Trace to do a batch for them. And there's a bunch of stories on why. I'm not going to go over it now. We're basically going to do a buff turkey battle against Russell's and George T. Stagg. So, but yeah, I think, I have a few 15 years, but I don't have a 16 year. And I basically bought these, most of them, because I only cracked a couple, to hold, right, for posterity's sake. Being a fan of both distilleries, the heritage, I mean, the fact that they did what they did and there's bottles floating around, I thought it was kind of cool, I'm gonna save these personally. If we drink through what we have, we'll crack another one. But yeah, I'm probably looking for another 16 year if I can find one. And but also the reason I thought this was pretty cool is that label is basically from a legacy distillery that was recently brought back by, I think, Rolling Forks. And the first time I saw this label was during my work travels, right? I get to travel a bit for work, especially to Europe, and walk into some like older liquor stores or whiskey shops. I saw the label, Bourbon Deluxe. I'm like, what? I mean, Bourbon Deluxe sounds like a cheesy name. It's a cheesy label. I'll try to put some B-reel to show you, but literally, I'm like, what is that? And they're charging like $100, but it's a bottle from the 80s or something. So I'm like, I guess, I don't know anything about it. But when they brought it back, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I need to get this bottle. So got lucky, picked this up. You can drive in and pick this up from DC if you're a DMV guy. And so you can save on shipping if you want to. But yeah, happy to have another buff turkey. I think I have about 5 different versions of buff turkey. So how many of you guys have been lucky enough to get your hands on a bottle of buff turkey? It tastes pretty good, but I'll tell you, it's not George T. Stagg. It is not Russell's 15. I'll repeat, it's not George T. Stagg or Russell's 15. I think those bottles have like older juice in it, and so they're able to get a little bit more, more aged oak into it, more barrel influence flavors into the juice. But in this case, like it's closer to a Russell's 13 in my opinion, where it's more fruit forward. At least the bottles that we got, right? So yeah, happy to get this guy. All right, guys. For those that do follow the channel, you guys know we went to Rome. I took Christine to Rome for her birthday. This is not bourbon. This is Prosecco. Prosecco, which is sparkling Italian wine. And I'm just showing this because, again, it was part of the whole experience of that trip. We checked in. I was able to check in early, which is nice of them. And, I mentioned it was my wife's birthday. It was actually, and they gave us this bottle along with some other, nice things delivered to the room. So I just wanted to show it, right? This is not something we're going to crack. This is something special to remind us of Italy and that trip and the things we experienced and the fun we had. So that's this bottle. But we did go hunting. We grabbed something I've never seen before in my life, which is this 12-year Jim Beam Signature Craft. It's 70 centiliters, so it's for Europe, and it's only 86 proof. So I had to pick it up. I think it was only like 40 some euro. It was not expensive. So grabbing this was not a big deal. I actually went to go get a second bottle just because I thought it was so unique. Did some research after I paid for these guys, went back to the hotel, and these used to be released here in the US like several years ago. So I'm wondering, anybody that watches the channel, is watching this video, if you've actually seen this, drank it, sipped it. I heard it's decent, and I think these sit around in like liquor stores. I was reading some article of a whiskey tuber, or not, a whiskey journalist, sorry. And he had mentioned finding a bottle from 2016 that was sitting in some corner of some San Francisco liquor store, like with dust all over it. And he grabbed it, I think, a year or two ago. So, what he grabbed was technically a dusty, right? Or not really, I guess. I don't know when he picked it up. Yeah. So anyway, pretty cool. Yeah. So this one we're not going to crack, but let's crack the 12-year. I want to let it open up, right? It's pretty cool because they have this, every country, not every, most countries have these tax labels or tax stickers. And I forget where this says. This probably says Italy. I remember reading one. Oh yeah, it was the one in The Hague when I was in the Netherlands. There it said Spain, and that guy, the owner there, basically buys stuff on auction from different people. So let's see what this Jim Beam 12-year tastes like. Then we'll do a 12-year battle. This cork is loose. Whew. I have to soak this cork. All right. On the nose. Ooh. There's okay, yeah, no, it makes sense. I was gonna say there's some, after giving it a little whirl, there was a bit of nuttiness that was coming out. It was like marzipan, but I'm guessing that's kind of that beam nut profile that comes out, that they have in their yeast profile. Okay. A little spin. But yeah, your standard beam notes of brown sugar with a little bit of nut. Not too proofy, obviously, at 86. All right, for your health. Not too much nut on palate. It's light, being at, make sure I read it right, 86 proof. It's definitely an easy sipper. It's definitely easy, but I tell you, it's pretty good. I mean, it's got some oakiness to it. It's not over oaked, but definitely you can tell the age on that. We should definitely compare this to other beam products we have. It's good, easy sipper. It was only 40-some bucks, so I can't complain. Again, let me know if you guys have tried this. All right, this next guy, Christine picked this up. I think she was out and about, and usually she visits a Virginia ABC, and she goes, hey, she's learned to ask for what's new, basically. And she has a good eye too. But she picked up this Keeper's release. I guess it's part of the whole release series, the wood finishing series. This guy comes in at, what is that? 109.2 proof. Bold oak toasted sweetness. I don't recall, or what I do recall is I think I preferred the Lost recipe over the Heart release. And I'd have to go back to our notes to figure out why, but yeah, I haven't been super wowed by any of these recently. That's no offense to any of you makers fans out there. Not everything's for everybody, but we will crack this because Christine likes them. Christine likes the cocoa flavors. At least when they start talking about it in the tasting notes, she's a sucker for that. All right, let's see what this is all about. Okay, ethanol. This will definitely need to open up because there's a note on that nose. And the note is, I call that note kind of like wet cardboard or wet wood. It's like if a cardboard box was sitting out in the rain and then the next day kind of was like baking and stewing in the sun but wasn't fully dried out, and that, yeah, I think it happens a lot on fresh cracks, by the way. So it's not an indication of it being a bad bourbon. It's just an indication of it being freshly cracked. Let's have a sip to see how this goes and see if their notes match. Bold oak toasty sweetness. That's kind of what I described like Russell's 15, but we'll see. Okay. There is, with a lot of wheaters, I get a wheat funk. It tastes like fresh dough. If you guys like to cook and you've ever like made a roux, the reason, roux is basically flour and some oil, usually butter or something, or olive oil. You have to cook the rawness out of the flour, right? That's kind of part of the method of making a roux. Is just not to combine and make the roux, it's to like cook out the rawness of the flour. And with some wheaters, I feel like when I taste it, I taste the rawness of the wheat, basically, which is flour, right? Yeah, so that's the first thing I noticed, but let me take a second sip to see what we get. Okay, past the wheat flavor that I get, that dough, kind of raw dough, there's definitely some sweet oakiness there. Not much in terms of fruit notes. A little bit of like baking spices, but definitely oak prominent, sweet, on top of that oak. I'd have to compare this. I mean, we're cracking it now to let it open up. We'll compare this against a bunch of other makers to give you guys an idea of where this sits in terms of flavor profile compared to the other ones we have, okay? All right, guys, we are at the final few bottles. And again, thank you for those of you that follow the channel. You guys saw me drop some shorts. Basically, in the Maryland areas, not all of Maryland, but Maryland in general, received their allotment of Jack Daniels. 10-year, 12-year, and 14-year. So, last day of the month, had to make our quota. I'm kidding. No, last day of the month, we saw, they were posting on social media, Jack drops, right? Lag Spirits up in Beltway, Maryland, different ones, right? And, we'll put this in a bourbon hunting guide video, but literally, you have to take these things and act on them. It's easier said than done. I get it. When this stuff happens, when I get drops while I am on travel, all I can do is watch because I'm not in the area. But I was in the area for this drop. So I went out after work and late into the evening. I think I hunted till like 10 p.m. I got home late. Got lucky and picked up 1 Jack 12 and 2 Jack 14s. Yeah. And we did a review already. Fresh cracks on the Jack 12 and 14. Check that out if you haven't done so already. We're definitely going to follow up when we're back in town. We have some travel scheduled. Probably by the time you watch this, we're traveling. But we definitely will get back to these and maybe bring in some other bottles that we can compare to like some other Jacks that we have, okay? But yeah, I feel super lucky. These dropped in DC maybe the month before. And, actually no, they dropped earlier in April. And that's where I had to exercise patience and not spend $500 for a bottle of 14. I was able to get these for, right around $300 basically. So that's what we have on the last haul. And these are pretty good. Check out the video if you want to know the differences. They're both good, right? I like Jack 12 for what it is, but Jack 14 is pretty good too, depending on what you're looking for. All right, guys, that's it for our April haul. It was a long video, but we did do some fresh cracks. We did some tasting notes. Let me know if you like this format in the comments. I can change it up a bit. I can not do the sips if you guys want. Let me know in the comments. I appreciate it. Anyway, you guys have a good one. Hopefully your April hauls were fruitful and you got the bottles you're looking for. Let me know if you're still looking for any of these or all of these. All right, guys, as always, I appreciate you. If you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button. It's helping out the channel. And you guys have a good one. Cheers.